Hello, everybody. Stephen Mead here for Domicile Real Estate. We are on a mission to help California's renters become homeowners, and this is our first-time home buyer housing market update as of September 3rd, 2020. So this is a quick, much shorter update, and we run stats that are specific for first-time home buyers, and we're actually starting to see some changes in the market. So I'm going to go ahead and get into it. I promise that this will be about 5 minutes. So here we go. Kind of jumping into our first stat, we see something really interesting. This is our home price index for both condos and single family homes. So what we've done is we created what we call the entry level statistic. So what that means is we take all of the 3-bedroom, 2-bath houses, and if we divide that in half, if we look for the median, and then we take the median of that, or something called the first quartile. So a good way to put it is, if we ranked all of the 3-bedroom, 2-bath houses that are available, and we had 100 of them, the median would be the 50th house. And what we're measuring is the 25th house, right? Because we're trying to get to an entry-level statistic. If we look at that this week, guess what? That number has jumped $15,000. Now remember, these are houses that have just closed in the last week. So that means they're the result of contracts from about 30 days ago. What's interesting though is when we look at our condo statistic, that has actually slipped versus last week. We'll need another week of data to see whether this is just kind of something that has happened or whether we're actually seeing a shift in the market. But just by looking at the shape of these curves, I think you can see that the single family market tends to move a little bit more aggressively upward. We have our numbers here from 2018 and around the same time 2019 as well. Moving on, we also wanted to kind of show what's happened to payment. And again, we see kind of a different story with condos and with our entry-level single-family homes. Just as a reminder, everyone, this is for Southern California, which for our statistics means Orange and Los Angeles counties combined together. So we see here our payment at 5% down has actually moved to be right about what it was 2 years ago for that same entry-level 3-bedroom, 2-bath home. But for condos, we're actually seeing you're getting over $200 of relief. So if you're looking for relative affordability, right now you're actually much better off in a condo than you are in a single family home. And now finally, probably one of my favorite charts, this is our affordability income indicator. And we wanted to actually give a little bit of context. Assuming you have no other debts, what is the minimum income needed to qualify to buy this entry-level condo or entry-level single-family home? And for the single-family home, we've moved up a little bit, again, almost matching where we were 2 years ago at $88,300. But you are still in great shape if you're in a condo. You are significantly cheaper than 2 years ago, and you need less income than you needed even last week to buy the median-priced house or our quartile house in our entry-level condo. That kind of leaves it, and I'm going to back out for a second. That kind of goes over our affordability for our market. But if you're a first-time home buyer, there's something else that you're interested in understanding too, and it's of great concern to you. And that is sort of, what is the availability of housing? How crowded is the market? How much inventory is there? Are you likely to be facing 10 offers on every single house that you approach? So we put together some stats for that as well, which I'm going to bring up on our screen here so we can take a look at these too. And if we look at these, we have our absorption rate. Now, our absorption rate is basically looks at week to week, what is the rate of new properties opening escrow. So these are new contracts, meaning people have bid and they have gotten a house and they are opening escrow versus how many new listings came in the market. And if we look last week, single family home and condos were pretty much the same. Both of these have actually taken a hit this week. We've seen kind of an influx of new listings and sort of a stagnation, as it were, of the number of contracts that we're seeing, actually a drop in contracts for condos. When I see charts like this move week to week, the thing that I think of if I'm a first-time home buyer is I actually see some opportunity. It looks like the market might not be quite as crazy as it was even a week ago, which is really great news if you're a first-time home buyer out there just trying to get your foot in the door. And now if we look at our months of supply, again, we're kind of seeing the same relationship. If you're looking at a condo, there's about twice as much inventory out there for you to look at as if you were looking for a single family home. You know, there's twice as much time and twice as much inventory. So what we have here is, actually, we need to relabel this graph. Slight mistake. There's actually weeks of supply. So we're under a month for the single family homes, and we are just under 2 months for the entry level condos. You know, I like to keep this pretty simple for this. And I think really, as we move into the fall, and, you know, one of the things that's kind of going on this week, if you're a parent, you might be aware of this, back to school is really an adjustment this year. And a lot of school districts are going back to school this week. That might explain sort of the drop in the new escrows, or kind of the stagnation on that front. That could definitely be a factor that we're seeing there. But what that means is, if we are looking at a market that isn't quite as crowded and you have a little bit more inventory, if you're a buyer, what's great is rates have remained largely unchanged. In fact, they've even dropped slightly. So you're still in that period of great rates, but it's not quite as much of a fight to get your offer accepted. This really is kind of an opportunity. Obviously, we appreciate you watching. If you have questions or comments, or you'd like to work with us, we would love to work with you. Definitely reach out to us. If this is on Facebook, send us a messenger, comment on us on YouTube, or send us a direct message. Anyhow, we hope to hear from you soon, and we will see you next week.